The UMass Minutemen hope that the home court advantage at the Mullins Center will be to their advantage against the number 22 team in the country. Hey, they got Sam the Minuteman on their side.
Michael Jordan. They won it. Wow. Oh, my goodness. How about that? Oh, boy. Unbelievable. Dreams to come true. As good as it gets.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. We find ourselves at the Mullins Center on the campus of UMass. It doesn't matter what conference you're in. When you're unbeaten, you've got a target on your chest, and that's essentially what's happening with the Rhode Island Rams as they commit to the Mullins Centers. We take a look at the standings of the Atlantic 10. Rhode Island sitting atop all by itself. VCU in second place with Richmond, a very surprising Richmond team. Then we flip the page. UMass had an excellent non-conference run, surprising some might say, but now 3-6 in the Atlantic 10. Hi everybody, I'm Tom McCarthy along with Mo Cassera. We get set for tonight's ball game. It is difficult to run the table for anybody in a conference.
This team, Rhode Island, playing awful well. They've won 12 in a row. Going for a lucky 13 in this big New England rivalry here at UMass tonight.
You know, last game, E.C. Matthews put his team on his shoulders and carried them in the second half in a big victory against Duquesne.
I believe one of the best all-around guards in the Atlantic 10. His versatility, his experience, a fifth-year senior who can score, get his teammates involved, but I love his ability to make big shots for Danny Hurley's team.
And you mentioned it, fifth-year senior. He's been around for a long time. He knows when it's difficult, when he has to take the basketball on his shoulders. All right, on the flip side for UMass, they're young. They had 7 guys leave after Derek Kellogg left the program, but Lawan Pipkins has been a huge bright spot for Matt McCall.
A transition year for UMass, but Lawan Pipkins can really score. Put up 44 against LaSalle earlier in the season. Mid-range jumper, quickness, can get to the basket, got great range and lift, really has a knack to score for UMass.
Matt McCall told us earlier today, said, you know, we probably need 30 from him if we're going to be competitive tonight against the Rhode Island Rams. 2.5 hours separate the two campuses. We'll see if the energy will carry over for the tip, which is next. Well, back here at the Mullins Center as we get set for this matchup, the second one of the year between Rhode Island and UMass. Danny Hurley's team jumped on the Minutemen the last time out. 6th season at Rhode Island. He's done a fantastic job. 17 straight wins against A10 opponents. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's ball game. Well, it's nice when they have E.C. Matthews in the starting lineup because they missed him for a good portion of the non-conference schedule, including 2 of their losses. Well, they are 12-0 since he has returned from the wrist injury. Meanwhile, for UMass, well, it's Pierre and Pipkins. Those 2 guys seem to be the key for Matt McCall from an offensive standpoint. He's confident, though, Mo, that he's got things rolling in the right direction.
Young backcourt and a young head coach.
Yep.
Fun to be around him this afternoon. His energy is great here for UMass.
Well, we've got a veteran officiating crew led by Les Jones, who has the basketball at midcourt. He's made 28 appearances in the NCAA tournament game-wise. Ted Valentine, Brian O'Connell are the other 2 officials. Malik Hines will jump center, and he'll do so against Andre Berry. 2 big dudes going at it right now at center court. UMass and Rhode Island meeting for the 2nd time this year. Rhode Island's won 3 straight against UMass and 5 of 7. Andre's foot got in the way of that dribble for Les. Here we go. We're underway from the Mullins Center, and UMass will control the tip. We're going to see pressured man-to-man defense from Rhode Island all night.
Rhode Island will really extend, push out past that 3-point line, ball pressure from the get-go.
Yeah, it used to be, at least last year, they had 2 wide bodies inside so they can settle back a little bit and protect the rim. First 3-pointer of the night from Pierre, and it's good. And that is a great sign for them to get off to that kind of start. It's the first lead for UMass in 3 games against Rhode Island.
One of the best freshman shooters in the country, and a great start for UMass.
And Terrell answers on the other end with a little soft 2-pointer. Jared Terrell's had a fantastic, fantastic year. You want to talk about a guy that's really taken the next step? He's a 1,000-point scorer even before this year.
Much improved, isn't he, over the last year or so? Really developed his game, and You will not see this Rhode Island team get frazzled.
Pierre to the basket. His layup is good. Under-recruited is what Matt McCall said. And he caught Matt's eye at a tryout that he had, an individual one-on-one tryout, 45-minute tryout. He said, yeah, I'm going to bring that kid aboard.
And a big recruit for them, a Boston kid coming out here to UMass. Really nice get, and what a terrific freshman season he's had.
5-2, UMass on top of the early start of this ball game. Rhode Island 17-3, 9-0 in the Atlantic 10. Terrell hovering. You see Matthews covered out front by McLean. Inside to Berry, the big man, slides through the paint.
One of the things to watch with Andre Berry, he's got great hands. He really catches everything around the rim. Nice finish.
Pierre, or Pipkins I should say, his jumper from 16 is good.
The little point guard from Chicago can really score. We talked about it in the open. Hung 44 on LaSalle earlier this season.
Yeah, that's a program record. It's pretty incredible to think about 44. You see Matthews cut off on the baseline, Berry in the paint, and it's good. His second bucket. I guess we anticipate we're going to see a lot of points if UMass is able to score.
This game is going to go up and down, and UMass needs to shoot the ball well here tonight to stay in the game against this stifling Rhode Island defense.
A 1-point lead. Teams are combined 6 for 6 in the early going. Pipkins running through the paint, tough angle. Hines with the rebound and the putback with his left hands.
Nice catch there, keep the ball high around the rim, left-hand finish.
Hines averages 7.5 per game. 6'10" junior, I should say, from Jackson, Mississippi. Stan Robinson had the game winner against Duquesne the other day, the transfer from Indiana. Shot clock under 10. Terrell to Robinson, 3 is too strong. And an easy rebound pulled down by Anderson. C.J. Anderson, nice bounce pass to Hines.
UMass would like to push when they can, so they don't have to face that tough half-court man-to-man defense of the Rams.
Can they keep up with Rhode Island? I mean, I guess if they shoot the way they did in the first game, they cannot. But I guess they feel like they can. Here's Doughton, leaves it for Berry. Berry called for travel.
You see Danny Hurley there. The pace of this game favors Rhode Island because of their depth. But UMass really likes to push, willing passers, limited bench. But if they can convert in transition, get this home crowd into the game, UMass has shown flashes throughout the season.
Yeah, UMass will play 6, maybe 7 guys because they've had so many issues. Holloway, academically ineligible. He's on the bench, but unable to play the rest of this semester. In fact, they utilize a couple of ex-managers in their rotation. Here's Pipkins. That's a tough angle. Doughton called for the foul. Looked like it was good defense by Doughton. I guess maybe till the end.
And Pip averaging 24 points a game this month. That's what great scorers do. They have the ability to get to the foul line, create contact. Chicago native really stepping up here in his second season for UMass.
78% free throw shooter. Makes the first one. Matt McCall told us a great story earlier today at shoot-around. He said, you know, when he took over, there were a lot of people that left, and it's fine. He said, I have no problem with that. They want to have a fresh start. He said he had to go to Chicago and track down Lawan and let him know that he needs to take a step forward off the court and even on the court. And he was back at school 4 days later.
Wasn't it fun talking to Matt McCall today? His energy, and talked about commitment and being coachable. And Lawan Pipkins has bought into that, and you can see the results.
Matthews for 3, no good. Rebound is tipped, and it's picked up by Pipkins. Pipkins stumbling in the paint, and an offensive foul called on him. That'll be his first.
Good call here by the officials. That's what veteran players do. On the road, got to find a way to get your team going, and sometimes it's on the defensive end, stepping in, taking a charge. Interesting dynamic in this game. Some different pressures here for this Rhode Island team. Not only the win streak, but now trying to kind of keep it going and stay on top of the Atlantic 10 standings.
Yeah, Danny said today when we were talking to him at practice, he said, listen, he goes, we have to ward off complacency. He said, we're a little tired right now, and he's got a tough week. Not only a game here, but then he plays VCU on Friday. Terrell with 5 on the shot clock, lets it fly, no good. Berry with good position, and he is fouled by Hines. It was a late foul called by Les Jones, but it did look like there was some contact. So an energetic start for Matt McCall's team, up 7 with 15:36 to play. Here at the Mullen Center, UMass is on top 13-6. They have 8 points in the paint so far. All right, let's take a look at Mo's keys to tonight's ball game. Mo, what do you got?
Well, for Rhode Island, it's really important team defense. They like to extend the defense and put pressure on the opponent. And senior focus. They've got a win streak. They've got a top 25 ranking. Seniors just focus on winning games. For UMass, we saw it to start. Shoot the 3. They've got to shoot it a lot and shoot it well and value the basketball. Get a good shot every time up and down the court. They'll have a chance to win here tonight.
Well, to the free throw line goes Andre Berry. Berry on the year is a 72% free throw shooter. Rhode Island and UMass both pretty good free throw shooting teams. Rhode Island at 73, UMass at 72, and Berry makes the first.
How about the improvement here for Andre Berry?
Yeah.
A senior from Long Island, not heavily recruited, went the junior college route, accepted his role here, got better and better. Great hands, nice finisher. He was terrific last week at Florida.
Makes both free throws. He'll check out, and Langevin will check in for the first time. And it's a 5-point lead for the Minutemen.
Rhode Island will pick up full court, try to put pressure on the ball handler, try to take some time off the shot clock, and you will see the Rams' depth front and center here tonight.
Yeah, Denny Hurley told us today, I asked him, is this the style? Because it's a little different than last year. Is this the style he wants to play as Pierre cans the three-pointer? And he said, I'm not really married to a style. He said, it all depends on my personnel.
How about the stroke of Carl Pierre? He can really shoot it. Almost 17 a game over his last 4 for UMass.
Here's Terrell flying to the basket and lays it in. And it's a 6-point lead for UMass. Pretty good pace, though, back and forth. You know, the pace that UMass has offensively, they're not stumbling at all.
And they haven't taken a bad shot, and other than the one charge, have not turned it over.
Which is a key. Rhode Island forces nearly 17 turnovers per game. From the corner, a three-pointer by Anderson is good. C.J. Anderson with just his 15th 3 of the season. And it's now 19-10. UMass is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc.
Matt McCall has to be happy. He said to us today, we got to make shots and play hard. They've done both of those things here early.
Can they sustain it, though? I guess that's the thing. Garrett to the corner. Terrell, little step back jumper from 16, no good. And McLean with the rebound. Outlet pass to Anderson, speeds toward the paint, heads to the basket, draws the foul. Langevin called for the personal foul for the Rams.
Certainly Rhode Island wants to get up and down the court, but one thing this will do for UMass, get yourself to the free throw line, get some extra possessions, find a way to score. Again, we talked about their limited bench, but I'll tell you what, their energy and effort early here has been tremendous.
And do they have to be this aggressive against Rhode Island?
I think you have to be. Anytime you can get to the basket, not face that stingy half-court pressure defense, you've got to take advantage of that.
Anderson makes the first free throw, and it is really good defense. Danny Hurley has done an amazing job at Rhode Island. And this year, defensively, the opposition scoring about 65 points per game against his squad. Doing a little counseling of Jared Terrell as he goes to the bench.
Danny intense all the time.
He is.
Coaching all the time. Obviously comes from a great family. His father, his brother doing such a nice job at Arizona State. And fun to be around. I saw him in the hotel. It's good to catch up with him for a minute. But he's always intense.
Under 14 minutes to play. It's a 14-4 run for UMass. The lead is 11. Little zone now by the Minutemen. Garrett bobbles the pass. Well, we mentioned that Danny was concerned about complacency, and I think the first 6 minutes or so, it might be a little complacent, although, just missed shots right now.
Rhode Island a little flat, offense not really clicking. Let's credit UMass's defense because they've been the more aggressive team, hit a couple shots early, and that real stingy ball pressure defense, we haven't seen that yet from Rhode Island.
Well, Langevin called for his second personal foul. At substitution, Berry's back in.
Replacing Langevin.
So UMass will inbound as Langevin takes a seat. This is the 152nd game between these two programs. There's a little bit of history there.
There's been some great ones. What a rivalry this has been.
Pipkins gets the roll as it flattens off the front of the rim.
We showed some highlights in the open. He really has a unique ability and knack to score.
And a foul called on Turner Morris. It'll be his first.
That's his first. Team's third.
And the third team foul. And that'll send Doughton to the free throw line. Jeff Doughton, 71% for the free throw line. And he makes the first. Fats Russell will check in for the first time. He'll check in for E.C. Matthews. All right, so Garrett and Russell, along with Doughton, will handle the basketball for the Rams.
I like this team for Rhode Island. It's actually a smaller unit. They're really playing 4 guards, essentially, but it gives them some versatility. They'll really put some ball pressure here on and try to speed this UMass team up.
Jarvis Garrett had a big game the other day against Duquesne. In fact, he said that he was watching the starters and felt like they weren't playing up to their potential in the first half. Now, he could say that because he's a senior and he's a leader. And he said it was up to him and Fats Russell to kind of energize the team going into the second half. Well, that is a tough shot by Turner Morris. He only averages 1.2 points per game.
And a defensive breakdown there, caught dead behind in the post, allowing him to come back to his strong-handed finish.
Robinson for the baseline, fairly close to his game-winning three-pointer. That's a two-pointer from the other day, and it's 25-14.
Some coaches think he's the MVP for this Rhode Island team, and a lot of coaches do believe one of the most deep backcourts in the country.
Yeah, he's kind of a utility guy for the Rams. That three is off the mark. It's only the second miss in this first half for the Minutemen.
They've operated in the comfort zone. They have not taken any bad shots, really done a nice job on offense.
Doughton splits the defense. Berry inside the free throw line, gets the leaner to go.
I love Berry's ability to finish.
He
can really catch, nice soft touch. And how about Jeff Doughton? 108, make it 109 assists on the season.
Danny Hurley helping Ted Valentine with that ball on the sidelines. Well, college basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls, and they're fitting through some little crevices so far in this first half. How about this? Big man off the bench. Not bad that UMass already has 25 points in the first half of this game. They had 20 in the first half in the first meeting, but part of it is because they've been sharpshooting from beyond the arc.
In rhythm shots, great passes, in rhythm shots, ready to shoot the ball. I love the way that UMass is moving the basketball, really taking good shots, and that's why they're off to a great lead here.
All right, but now to the credit of Rhode Island has forced 2 open possessions now for UMass. As you see, C.J. Anderson and Turner Morris, they'll take their seats on the bench. Malik Hines is back in. So is Pipkins. So all the starters are back in except for Rayshawn Miller, who is on the floor for C.J. Anderson. So here's Doughton. Doughton looking at the screen, but then discards it, gives it to Berry. Berry, 17-footer, no good. And McLean with his second rebound. Pipkins loses it as Fats Russell gets a hand on it. Here comes Doughton running the floor and drawing the foul.
Now you see a little bit of that speed and depth of the Rhode Island backcourt. Reaching in here, throw the ball ahead. Really unselfish team. That's part of the reason they have a win streak. That's why they're ranked. They share the basketball, and Doughton into the foul line. We haven't talked a lot about him, but what a year he's having.
Yeah, Jeff Doughton is averaging 8.7 per game, 2.9, but more than anything, 108 assists to 23 turnovers as he misses the first free throw. Start your morning right with a healthy serving of sports. From recapping last night's action to breaking down the top stories of the day, the boys have you covered. Catch Boomer and Gio weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network.
I like some Boomer and Gio on my morning drives around Long Island, the Fan.
Do you run into Boomer at all on Long Island?
He is on Long Island quite a bit, does a lot of charity work, and loves to talk about hockey.
Yes, he does.
Got to get him a little more on college basketball.
He's talking a little football this week, too.
Yes,
There's a big game that the people around here are kind of interested in. Anderson, McLean, right side of the lane, short. Rebound is pulled down by Garrett. And here comes Garrett running the floor, feeding Doughton. Oh, Garrett's open for three. Takes the fake and pulls up for 16.
It's been the bench for Rhode Island. This bench and smaller lineup really good for the Rams.
It's turned into a 9-2 run for Rhode Island. Hines' jumper is no good. I don't know if that's the kind of shot he wants to take.
Probably the first bad shot that they've taken all evening.
Anderson to Pierre for three. Catch and shoot, no good. And out of bounds off UMass. Matt McCall, his team is up by 6, but I think Danny Hurley seems kind of figuring some things out.
The bench, and that's what makes them so tough, because they can play different ways, a lot of energy, defensive effort. UMass for the first couple times struggle in offense, but again, Rhode Island's defense has turned it up a notch.
Garrett put on a dribbling display, lost control on the baseline out of bounds, off the foot of the Minutemen. Jarvis Garrett, who is on the doorstep of becoming a 1,000-point scorer with 300 assists. Not too shabby.
No, he's been a nice player for them, and coming in off the bench, doing so many good things, and you mentioned it, leadership.
Here's Terrell open for three from the sideline. It's good. He was wide open. They talked about that at shoot-around today, trying to get out and make sure that nobody has those kind of open shots.
And how about the pass? Perfect in-rhythm shot.
See the quick hands of Fats Russell again. He knocked that ball away for a moment. Pipkins posting up, fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebound by Hines. Anderson down low to McLean. Inside to Pipkins, who's fouled by Garrett. I have to admit, watching Pipkins, he does move well without the basketball, too.
I'll tell you what, Garrett and Pipkins, that's a battle. That's two of the smaller guys on the court, but I'll tell you what, big hearts, a lot of energy, playing really hard, and again, great scorers, find a way, almost 24 a game this month, get to the free throw line, and this is important. Matt McCall, a little danger time here. They needed a couple free throws.
Just to kind of slow things down a little bit. Slow the Rhode Island offense down a little bit. Turner Morris checks back in. Hines checks out. And Pipkins trying to convert his third free throw of the night. And UMass is 5 for 5 from the line. As Rayshawn Miller, the junior, will check in for Carl Pierre. Rhode Island's winning streak is at 12 games. The longest win streaks this year. Right now, Purdue 17. And this is the longest win streak since the 41-42 season.
Well, we just showed some teams there that are going to win some games in the NCAA tournament. Circle them up and write them in permanent marker. UMass changes defense again off the free throw.
Russell leaves it for Barry. He rolled that time. Danny Hurley was barking out earlier, you've got to roll. And he did there.
Fats, the young point guard from Philadelphia, so dynamic. How about the big fella catching and finishing?
Here's Pipkins for three. Jumper no good. And Terrell gets the box out. Outlet to Doughton. Doughton smartly pulls it out. Terrell, pull-up jumper good. Rattles it home. And just like that, it's a one-point game.
Terrell so improved. Brewster Academy, Weymouth, Mass native.
1,500 points for his career. It's a 16-4 run for Rhode Island.
You see Coach Hurley, he's almost out there like a sixth defender right now.
Anderson, a little hesitation. And Rayshawn Miller drops it out of bounds. That's the 4th turnover now for UMass. Remember, you mentioned before they haven't turned it over. Well, now they have the last 10 minutes.
And now we switch back to offense here. You see, share the basketball, catch, finish, using that pick and roll. Nice job. The bench play really been the story here in the first half for Rhode Island.
Asked Danny Hurley today, have you ever had this kind of depth? He said, well, maybe at St. Benedict's. But then he thought about it. He goes, you know, my second year at Wagner, we did have some pretty good depth with that team.
I lost to that team. I can tell you that right. I can tell you that right now.
Shot clock under 10. Here's E.C. Matthews. Shot clock at 3. Shot clock at 2. He'll let the 3 fly, and it's good as the buzzer sounds. And Rhode Island has taken the lead.
I talked about E.C. Matthews in the open. His ability to make big shots, his leadership, 5th-year senior, just a big part of what Danny Hurley's done here at Rhode Island.
He has over 1,700 points during his collegiate career. And climbing. 7.5 to play in the first half. Anderson has it knocked away. And the battle for the loose ball out of bounds, and it'll be Rhode Island basketball. Oh, no, it's going to be UMass basketball. We'll say that E.C. Matthews touched it last, but there's only 2 on the shot clock.
E.C. Matthews, the senior for Rhode Island, finishing for the Rams.
Well, UMass had a 13-point lead at one point, 23-10, but now Rhode Island has the 2-point lead, 29-27. Well, we've got Batman and Batman, and they really have combined to do some damage for the Rams.
Named by Coach Hurley himself, and I'll tell you what, that is a tough backcourt. Veteran, experience, and they can really score.
Yeah, it used to be E.C. Matthews and Hassan Martin were like the Batman and Robin of the Rhode Island Rams. And so far it's been Terrell. I mean, he has been the guy that has the most points with those two. But we just saw that 3-pointer from E.C. Matthews.
Hot start by UMass offensively, but it's really been the Rhode Island defense that has turned up here over the last couple minutes.
Which is what we've talked about, how it's so different for Danny Hurley's team. You know, he's kind of adjusted his defense a little bit. More hands, you know, taking more charges, things like that. And, you know, it's interesting. Coaches have to adapt on the fly, and he certainly has, even though he's had a lot of the same personnel.
I don't know if anybody realized how difficult it is when you're ranked, when you have a win streak going. There's some complacency that can set in. This is what they would call maybe a trap game, a difficult game against a team that probably isn't expected to win. So a lot of elements to play with for Danny Hurley.
Well, with 2 on the shot clock, they tried that inbounds to Hines. It nearly worked. Here's Doughton for 3. It's no good. Terrell with the putback. How about that? Flying through the air, not like Batman, but like Superman.
Superman, I love that. On the road, go get your team an extra possession, offensive rebounds. That's the little things that helps your team win.
11 points. E.C. Matthews with the near steal. He does have it. Doughton now taps it to E.C. Matthews, who lays it in. Boy, that is an aggressive set of defense. And a timeout called by Matt McCall. 33-27. It's an incredible turn of events. Rhode Island up by 6. It's a 6-point lead. It's part of an 11-0 run. We just saw one of the more athletic finishes from Jared Terrell.
Throw the ball ahead, and good shot in transition there. They like to shoot the 3, but there it goes. Go get your team an offensive rebound, get an extra possession. What a finish. What a body. Boy, has he improved over the last couple years under Danny Hurley.
Well, it's a 23-4 run for Rhode Island since they trailed it by 13, 23-10. And we are nearing the 6.5-minute mark here in the first half. Pierre for 3. He let it fly pretty quickly. And the rebound is taken down by the Rams and Stan Robinson. Doughton looks for the screen from Langevine. E.C. Matthews. Pull-up jumper is off the side of the rim. And the save by Robinson off Anderson. It'll remain Rhode Island basketball, but with a fresh 30. Take a peek. They were really tangled up. Garrett skips it to Matthews for three. Short again, but he gets his own rebound for the moment and does. Well, they may have gotten off to a slow start. They may have been a little complacent, but they aren't anymore. And a foul on the floor.
The UMass foul is number 23.
I think we talked about it. It's their team defense, and it's also Jarvis Garrett. I think Jarvis Garrett was the lift they needed off the bench. And that's what makes great teams. When you have the ability to play different teams, maybe your starting group was a little complacent or just wasn't really ready to go. Boy, you can bring some guys off the bench to give you energy and experience like that. Wow, that's what makes them a top 25 team.
It could kind of slow the game down when it's moving way too fast, even for a seasoned team. Hines with the steal. Leads Pipkins, who heads to the basket for the easy layup.
They needed that one, an easy basket in transition. UMass does like to switch defenses, see if they go back to this zone look a little bit.
10 points now for Pipkins. First field goal in 6.5 minutes for UMass. You like this, the thought of a zone here?
I like changing it up. I think try to keep this attack off balance, and you've seen a nice job there. They stayed with the man and take a charge, get an easy basket, and all of a sudden you're back in the game a little bit.
Stanford Robinson called for the foul.
Baseline drive here, got a jump play off 2 feet, maybe give that basketball up a little early. Robinson loves that corner, doesn't he? We talked about that shot he made in their last game against Duquesne. How about Duquesne in the Atlantic 10, huh?
Well, I think that Keith Dambrot has done a fantastic job. I mean, they are fun to watch. They are sound offensively to watch. 5:15 to play here in the first half. Hines. Bounce pass to Pipkins. Off the back of the rim.
That is what great scorers do. Move without the basketball. He kept moving, little backdoor cut. Finds a way to score.
Well, Pipkins has 12 points. Pipkins has 12 points. And it's a 2-point game with 4:40 to play here in the first half. Shot clock is under 10. Matthews to Terrell. Shot clock at 3. Terrell's jumper no good. Robinson with the rebound. Ball knocked away. Robinson forces the shot and it goes.
Another big offensive rebound for Rhode Island. UMass has kind of weathered the storm here though. Important 4 minutes, couple possessions here. UMass want to take a little time, run some time off the shot clock. Again, we mentioned they don't have the depth that this Rhode Island team does.
That's what Rhode Island does so well. They hedge up top. There's 2 guys up there at all times. It'll be Garrett that's called for the foul against Pipkins. It's his second.
That's his second, team 6th.
The 16th foul.
Number 40 being completed in the game.
Sean Miller will check out. McLean checks in. Russell checks in as well. Doughton checks back in for Garrett, who will take a seat. We saw how aggressive UMass was earlier. Here's Pipkins, 17-footer is good. He was left wide open, and he is money in the bank.
A mistake on the hedge there. Andre Berry does not hedge out. Pipkins will take advantage of that every time.
14 points, and now the missed shot. And we've got a 2-point game. UMass can tie it up. Anderson thought about the 3. I like this matchup, Pipkins against Russell. Pipkins now picked up by Robinson. Little hesitation. And a bumping foul along the baseline. That's going to go against Berry.
Luan Pipkins, little ball screen action. Mid-range jumper. UMass fighting their way back.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, we'll send you back to our New York studios where Adam Zucker, Brendan Haywood, Gary Parrish, and John Robson will get you caught up on all the news in college basketball. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Well, we've certainly seen some spurts from UMass tonight with some good movement offensively.
Now watch Luan Pipkins here. He really moves well without the basketball. You see him up top here. When you get overplayed, cut back door, move without the basketball, and you see here the overplaying defense of Rhode Island takes advantage of that, and boom, right back door, gets himself an easy basket.
Yeah, and Hines recognized it. We're doing it in slow-mo just so everybody got a grasp on how fast he was past his defender.
Listen, there's no slow-mo about that guy. Let me tell you something. He moves without the basketball. He can get to the hoop. Boy, what a dynamic score. Young guard, and talking to Matt McCall today, he loves some of this young core, getting guys to really buy into what he and his staff want to do. I thought it was really interesting today. He mentioned, we've got 20 practices and 9 games left. Let's see who really wants to buy in. It's up to you, he said to his teammates. I thought that was great. Really uplifting message to his team.
Yeah, he said he wasn't threatening them. He was just putting it in their hands. Pipkins misses the second free throw. It's the first miss of the night for UMass. He has 15 points, the last 9 for UMass. And back to the zone.
Yeah, I mentioned changing defenses. Matt McCall likes to do that. Good look here for UMass going back to that zone.
Doughton skips it to Russell. Russell into the paint, leaves it for Doughton again. His three-pointer is good. Leaned back and got it to go.
And that's what you want to do against the zone. Dribble drive, look to attack, look for a shooter on the perimeter.
Under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Here's McLean, good first step, reverse layup, too high. Too high off the backboard, at least it seems. Robinson got free for a moment. Doughton again for 3. Different spot, but he gets it to go.
Doughton, one of the better point guards in the country. His assist-to-turnover ratio, unbelievable. Takes care of it. Not normally known as a three-point threat, but I'll tell you what, in-rhythm shot here for him.
Matt McCall was concerned about E.C. Matthews. He was concerned about Terrell, obviously, but he said, Doughton, he just sees things so well on the floor for Rhode Island. And now a turnover forced and a timeout called by Rhode Island. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Rhode Island on top by 7. At one point, Rhode Island was down by 13. Then they extended their lead to 6. But now Jeff Doughton, after UMass made it a one-point game, Jeff Doughton's taking things into his hands offensively.
The sophomore from St. John's High School in that Baltimore Beltway, another great guard from that area. Look at the statistics, 6.7 in league, doesn't turn the basketball over, runs his team, great leadership, and a little youth in this very senior-dominated group.
We had 9 points, 4 assists, no turnovers for Doughton so far in this first half. He really came of age last year when Jarvis Garrett was out with the stomach ailment, the colitis. 2 minutes to play in the first half. Doughton again looks for the screen. You hear Danny Hurley in the background yell, roll, roll. Doughton with 2 on the shot clock. Turnaround jumper is no good, and it's out of bounds. It'll be Rhode Island basketball.
I think Andre Barrett can hear Danny Hurley in his sleep yelling, roll, roll, big guy, roll.
Oh, it is great. Russell would bat fresh 30 for the Rams. E.C. Matthews open for 3 and a little too strong. The rebound taken down by McLean. That's another one for him. For a small guy, he's done a nice job on the boards. Now he's going to head to the basket. He tries to leave it for Hines, who gets control and is fouled going up.
See a little bit of UMass's young athleticism, and they can get to the basket. They just don't really have the depth here, but attacking the basket, trying to lay it off and finish. Important here, get to the free throw line, set your defense. UMass like to go back to that matchup zone look, alpha made free throw.
Hines is a 71% free throw shooter. And he makes the first. They're 8 of 9 from the free throw line. I mean, they're going to need everything tonight if they're going to knock off and upset Rhode Island.
They shoot the ball well from the 3, but important in the second half to hang around here, getting to the free throw line. They shoot the ball well at the charity stripe.
High arcing shot by Hines, and it's good again.
Another change in defense here, a little three-quarter court token pressure, try to take some time off that shot clock against Rhode Island, who's really kind of had their way on offense here the last couple minutes.
And they popped Pierre back in the game. He has sat for the last few minutes. He's out on Doughton right now. Not an easy matchup for him. They leave it for Berry. Berry goes up, fouled by Hines. So Berry will go to the free throw line. Second foul on Malik Hines. The 16th foul.
Good call by the officials. I'm going to agree with them again. That's 2 for 2 tonight on my agreement with the officials.
Well, Berry's got 10 points already, averaging just under 10. first free throw.
We talk so much about Rhode Island's senior group and their experience and what they've done. How about the improvement over some of these players they had? Here's another guy not highly recruited, down from my neck of the woods, West Hempstead, New York on Long Island, did junior college and found his way to get in shape, and what he's done and what Danny Hurley's done. He works out so much with these guys, does individual workouts with them on the weekends and in the off season, and he's just an extension of what they do.
Do you remember him in high school?
I do. Not very highly recruited, I can tell you, and not ever in very good shape. And wow, has he improved. He was spectacular at Fordham last night.
42-36. We hit the 1 minute mark here in the first half. Whistle blows and a foul called. I believe they'll call a foul at E.C. Matthews. That's his first. So that's the 19th foul. It means that Turner Morris will go to the free throw line. Kelly was in for just a minute. Now he's out.
Nice little lift off the bench for UMass. Spot player, young guy getting some minutes.
Yeah, the freshman from New Orleans, Louisiana. And he makes the first free throw. Again, they're now 10 of 11 from the free throw line. And they're going to need every bit of offense they can find tonight.
And that's something to build on at halftime. Getting to the free throw line, shooting free throws well.
Oh, he banked it. Oh, that was a totally different shot than the first one.
Called it.
It had more spin on it, too.
Called it.
50 seconds now left to play in the first half. Matthews out front, off the screen by Berry. Matthews thought about the three. Shot clock is at 6. Doughton found a piece to the basket, no good, but Berry's able to tip it up. It's no good again. Berry's putback this time is good. 13 points for Berry.
And what he did well, keep the basketball high. Young big players out there, didn't bring it down. Another great finish for the big fella.
6-point game. UMass will hold it for the last shot.
Pipkins, keep the basketball in your hands. High ball screen action. Look for a switch for Rhode Island on defense.
Pipkins, little step back three, lets it fly. Good! As time expires here in the first half. It's a 3-point game. Look at this separation.
Step back, great score. Unbelievable finish. UMass finds a way to hang in after a little slow lull in the game.
44-41. The score is we have ended the first half here at UMass. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. Stay tuned for AT&T at the half. You're watching College Hoops on CBS Sports Network. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. We get set for the second half to begin here at the Mullins Center. Rhode Island on top 44-41. UMass had a lead of 13 at one point with a little more than 13 left, along with Mo Cassera. I'm Tom McCarthy. But Rhode Island was able to come back. We kind of expected that they would be able to stem the tide and put some pressure on UMass.
It was the bench of Rhode Island that really gave them a lift. They turned it up on defense, and once they get going, they're tough to stop.
Yeah, that's the goal for Rhode Island, is to defensively get in the kitchen of the team that they're facing. That's exactly what they did in the first half against the UMass Minutemen. Now, UMass started out hot. They were cannon threes in the first half.
Really like the way this young freshman shoots the ball. Carl Pierre, 2 big threes, shoots about 47% for the season. Terrific looking shooter for UMass, and they got out to a great start. They took good shots, but for Rhode Island, it was really their overall attack going to the offensive glass. You see Terrell there getting an extra possession on the road, and the big fella around the rim, keeping it high, staying with it, and finishing. Andre Berry, terrific for Rhode Island.
Berry had 13 points in the first half. He averages 9.8 a game. By the way, UMass began this game 9 of 10 from the floor. They finished at 57% in the first half, and each team with 4 3-pointers. Those first half stats are brought to you by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. All right, so we begin the second half. Rhode Island with the basketball as we start the second half at the Mullen Center. Can they keep this unbeaten streak alive? We will find out in the next 20 minutes.
Well, the one stat I love from halftime, 12 assists for the Rams.
There's Doughton high off the glass. Great recognition that there was a defender and an arm there, and he got it right over the top.
Refused that ball screen. Kind of a reluctant scorer at times, but boy, some big baskets here tonight.
All right, so the lead is 5 for the Rams. And a near turnover. Anderson with a tough pass. Excellent defense by the Rams, though. They find Hines underneath, and he's fouled going up by Berry. Actually, they're going to say E.C. Matthews is called for the foul.
Rhode Island at times will switch 1 through 4. They will switch all screens with all their guards. That time get caught in a little pick and roll. They've had trouble defending it tonight. Nice pass there by Pip.
So Hines to the free throw line, 71% for the year, 2 for 2 tonight, 3 for 3 tonight. Matt McCall in his first season. He was at Chattanooga the last 2 years, won 48 games. Boy, Hines is exactly the same with those last 2 free throws. The high arcing shot.
Talk about Matt McCall. He's definitely got a recipe for winning, and really enjoyed spending some time with him here on the sidelines after the shoot around today.
Got his start as a manager at the University of Florida. Started out at Stetson, said he really didn't like it there, went to Florida. Shot clock under 10, down low to Berry. Berry's size advantage, gets it to go.
UMass gets caught in a mismatch, late help, and nothing can stop Mr. Berry around the rim when he gets it close.
So he is really having an effective night tonight inside for the Rams. Berry now with 15 points. Whistle blows, foul called.
See the switch here. Help is late and a mismatch with size there. Can't say enough about how well he catches the basketball, keeps it high, little power dribble there, take it strong to the rim.
Well, I think what you said too, strong hands, good hands. And that certainly helps him.
Isn't it funny? He's got strong hands, but they're soft too.
Yes.
You know, he can just finish around the rim.
Shot clock is under 10. Anderson looking for the high screen. Double team. Shot clock at 5. McLean, jumper with 2 on the shot clock, no good. The rebound is loose, and it's picked up by McLean. He loses it inside. Whistle blows. Let's see who the foul is against. Les Jones will confer with Ted Valentine. It'll be an offensive foul. Stan Robinson got himself set, right?
I think I'm going to agree with the officials again. Veteran crew here tonight, we mentioned. Les Jones.
Ted Valentine and Brian O'Connell, the 3 officials for tonight's game. And there's Terrell bringing the ball up. They release Doughton off to the side. You see Matthews for 3. That one is good. He was short on a couple in the first half.
And I hope we can show that replay again, because what he did, it's a real veteran move. He read the defense. He didn't come all the way high. He backstepped, got his hands and feet set. Great finish there for Rhode Island.
51-43, 17:45 to play. Pipkins, big first half. Bounce pass to Hines. Oh, man, did he slip that beautifully.
Tell you what, Hip, we talk about his scoring ability, but it's really his playmaking. He is a willing passer as well. Going to be a tough guard for years to come in the Atlantic 10.
That's 10 points for Hines, by the way. It's a 6-point game. I think much closer than we anticipated. E.C. Matthews fouled on the floor. McLean will be called for that foul. That's his 3rd.
UMass fouls number 40, McLean. That's his 3rd. Team second.
So that means that Rayshawn Miller is going to check in.
Rayshawn Miller in the game for UMass.
Give me your thought as a coach. 17-10 to play. How long do you sit somebody with 3 fouls at this point? Is it a big deal?
Tough call. You know, it's one of those things where you got to go with your gut a little bit. And, you know, we've talked about the lack of depth for UMass. And, you know, their last game against Fordham, they just ran out of gas. 19-2 run for the Rams, the Fordham Rams late, and that's where they kind of run out of gas a little bit in the second half. So they're going to have to try to control the tempo here.
Ball is out of bounds. It'll be UMass basketball down by 6. And Robinson with the steal. Pressures the inbounds, gets it to Terrell. Corner jumper by Doughton for 3. Yes!
What a great pass. Defense turns to offense. This team can take a steal and score really fast.
Well, Doughton is now 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. He has 14 points. And Rhode Island has 14 points off turnovers. Whistle blows and a foul called on Doughton. That'll be his second personal foul. Brian O'Connell didn't say too much when Doughton was talking about it. Shot clock only resets to 20 after the foul. So it's down to 8. Here's Pipkins to the corner and a foul away from the basket. And that's going to go against Berry. That's his second.
And that's a hard hedge for Berry. You got to really get your hands out wide. You really got to move your feet. Pip can create some contact.
See, look at some of the numbers for Pipkins and just how he has improved from last year to this year. Well, that's an off-balance shot. He wanted some contact. And now the ball is loose again and again. Finally picked up. No, it's not picked up. And finally picked up by C.J. Anderson. It's almost as if it was oblong. It wasn't around basketball for a moment.
I'll tell you what, this is a great rivalry. Great fans here tonight, an exciting atmosphere.
Pierre doesn't get the roll. Hines with the putback, no good. And Terrell will pull down the rebound. Here's Terrell in a traffic jam and loses the basketball. Pierre, outlet pass to Anderson. Anderson goes up and his shot is good.
UMass sticking around, hanging around, finding a way to create some offense. Going to be on this end now for them. String some defensive stops together, play without fouling.
Danny Hurley just told Jeff Doughton, get up there and get the basketball.
Isn't it great when you got a point guard like that?
Yeah.
Just go get it, control the tempo, get everybody where they need to be.
Rhode Island's only 3 losses this year at Nevada. Number 25 Virginia at the time. Virginia is number 2 right now. There's an easy bucket, 56-47. And at Alabama, they did not have E.C. Matthews in the Alabama game, and they didn't have him at the end of the Nevada game.
How about they haven't lost an Atlantic 10 game in almost a year?
It's pretty incredible considering the conference. 14.5 to play here in the second half. Miller underneath. Tough pass. Pierre's got it. Jumper is no good. Hines with the rebound and a putback. He's got a little motor going tonight.
He sure does. Offensive rebound, extra possession. Nice finish.
Well, he has 12. Here's Terrell. Terrell to the corner for Matthews. Matthews runner for the baseline, no good. Loose ball, and Hines will run it down. Pipkins is peering. Ball is knocked out of bounds. It'll remain UMass basketball. 13:50 to play. The Minutemen are hanging around. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. Rhode Island is on top of UMass. Rhode Island trying to improve to 10-0 in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Hey, it's time to see which team has been protecting the paint. Brought to you tonight by Experian.
And dominate the paint. Andre Berry, the big player from Long Island, great hands and feet. He has been so active around the basket, in the paint, just doesn't take bad shots, finishes, catches the ball strong around the rim. 6 for 8, 15 points for the big fella.
Yeah, Rhode Island with 24 points in the paint. In fact, that battle I think is a little closer than I thought. Rhode Island is only up by 2 points in the paint so far against UMass.
And Rhode Island's going to go back to this little smaller lineup that really helped them when they were struggling a little bit. Andre Barry, 15 again tonight, really playing well, improving. Getting a much-needed rest there.
So Pierre will inbound. Pierre started the game 3 for 3 and is 0 for his last 5. They need him to get going. UMass does. They've gotten a nice lift from Hines. In fact, UMass will go big with Hines and Turner Morris in the game at the same time.
And we talked about that little fatigue sets in for UMass with that lack of depth.
Pierre's pass is knocked out of bounds by Langevin.
Great opportunity here. Baseline out of bounds, 13 on the shot clock. See if they can get something from Pip coming off of a ball screen.
Well, they do get him. Garrett, though, was right in his back pocket. Little step back, 18-footer is no good. And the ball out of bounds, touched last by Stanford Robinson. As he was battling with Turner Morris.
Oh, I like that look, though. Nice set play out of bounds underneath. Pip coming back, little mid-range jump shot.
So Hines will check out. Hines has given him some good minutes. 12 points, 5 rebounds. Pipkin is caught in a double team and bumps. And he asks for a timeout and gets it. Well, it's 56-49, 13-28 to play here in the second half. UMass calls the TO. We'll be back right after this. Well, again, UMass is sticking around, although Rhode Island has a 7-point lead right now here in the second half. College hoops continues tomorrow night starting at 7 Eastern with back-to-back American action as the 8th-ranked Cincinnati Bearcats welcome Houston, followed by UConn at UCF. Later, Nevada takes on Fresno State in a crucial Mountain West matchup only on CBS Sports Network. How about Nevada and Wyoming? Double overtime. Both teams scored 100 points in the last game out. All right, we look at the AP top 10. Villanova 20-1. We mentioned Virginia, though. Virginia's climbing, also 20-1. That's pretty good top 5 right there.
Whew. I don't know who you'd knock out of there if you had to pick a Final Four. I'll tell you another team I like we talked about before. And as you look, as we scroll down through the top 10, Texas Tech, terrific job. And how about Mick Cronin? But they're going to play a really good Houston team. I like that Houston team. I had them early in the season. They beat Arkansas. They're playing in a different facility. They're playing at Texas Southern. They're building a brand new facility. And speaking of facilities, how about the Champion Center here at UMass? What a basketball facility they've built. Ryan Bamford, the athletic director here, and crew have done a real nice job here in Amherst.
Yeah, in fact, Matt McCall said it was so enticing when he was offered the opportunity to come up here. He said he had a good thing going at Chattanooga, and he realized it, but it was too enticing with the facilities.
Nice mentor he had, Billy Donovan. Got a chance to hear him share some stories about his coaching carousel and how he's gotten here. Nice job and great energy. Young coach here for UMass.
UMass with the basketball. Shot clock at 15. Anderson. There's Pierce. Or Pierre, I should say. And now Miller. Back to Anderson. Shot clock's at 3. I don't think he realizes it. Now he does. Shot clock at 2. Lets it fly with 1. And it's a shot clock violation. It did not touch anything. C.J. Anderson thought it may have grazed the rim. And he just said it was my bad. Sometimes you get lost after a timeout. You don't know where the shot clock is.
That's what frustrates coaches. You saw Matt McCall a little upset about that. But youth, a little bit of an experience still for UMass. But that was a veteran defensive stop for Rhode Island.
Now Rhode Island can extend its lead. Here's Terrell, hasn't scored in this half, and he has the ball cut off. It's loose, picked up by Robinson, who slips it to Langevin, who lays it in.
Another lift off the bench for Rhode Island. Langevin gives them a little more aggressiveness, hedging ball screens on defense, and kind of a capable scorer around the basket as well.
It's his first bucket of the night. Makes it a 9-point game. Get some substitutions at the next stoppage of play for UMass. Pipkins skips it to Anderson. Anderson, 15-footer is good. That's a sweet stroke. And now it's 58-51.
UMass just hanging around, finding a way. C.J. Anderson, nice finish there for UMass.
Danny Hurley told us today that his slogan is all in because of how tough this week is and how the stretch has been too. He's got VCU on Friday down in Richmond.
They're playing better after a couple tough losses in league. We've talked about this league, and there's so many good young players, but a lot of great coaches as well.
Well, Danny Hurley certainly has weapons. He has depth that he's utilizing tonight.
He sure is. Lift off the bench, Rhode Island on the road with the lead.
Well, it's been a very competitive game here at the Mullins Center. Rhode Island undefeated in the Atlantic 10 on top 58-51. We echoed before the job that Danny Hurley has done since taking over at Rhode Island. 104 wins, 2016 A10 tournament champions, appeared in the NCAA tournament last year, the NIT earlier in his career. 12 straight wins, longest win streak since 1941-42. All right, Mo, you're a former coach. You know how you're supposed to work the officials, right?
Non-stop. Stay on them, stay on them. Hey, I don't really like that call, or hey, what about this, or hey, what about that? Trying to negotiate with them a little bit, maybe smile a little bit, back up a little bit, come back in, back away a little bit. You see Tommy Moore there, hide behind your assistant a little bit, give him another shot, walk back into the huddle. Never ending. Never ending. Danny knows how to work them, learned well from his father, and boy, he has really battled with his team here. A tough place to play today. And hey, listen, they're going to get everybody's best shot too.
No question.
They are the top of the league. They're going to get everybody's best shot every night, and that's what he mentioned today. They're a little fatigued, and it's been their bench. I'll tell you, their bench has been so good. They can play so many different ways.
Yeah, and he can pick and choose. If somebody's hot, he'll keep him in. If somebody's not, he'll just bring somebody off the bench. Shot clock under 10. Easy. Matthews right down the left side of the lane.
Now, we talked about working the officials, but that's coaching right there. Set play, out of bounds, bring it in, get your strongest veteran player going to the basket.
Yeah, I think he may have been right there. EC may have been bumped a little bit as he went through the basket. He has 10 points. 9 minutes into the second half. Here's Pierre for three. It's good. Boy, he needed that. He started out 3 for 3. It's his first point since the 15-15 mark in the first half.
What a great recruit for Matt McCall. Best freshman three-point percentage in the country. Terrific looking shot.
That's a young man that was going to go to prep school because he wasn't given really any scholarship offers. Matthews to Garrett. Here's Doughton. Russell with the shot clock at 6, and he'll get that one to go. It's a 2-point field goal. That's his first bucket of the night.
Quickness. One of the best backcourts. One of the best names in college basketball,
that's right.
too.
McLean has that shot partially blocked. He wanted to bring it down. You see Matthews' quick first step along the baseline. Doughton. Russell for 3. Good! .10:06 to play. Timeout called. 11-point lead. We'll be back in 30 seconds. We mentioned how good the Rhode Island defense has been for Danny Hurley this year. This possession starts with excellent defense.
It really does. The big fella from East Orange, New Jersey says, get out of here. Great lift off the bench. And then watch how this team shares the ball. The extra pass, or as I say, the right pass. Instead of a good shot, a great shot. And Fats, great lift off the bench.
It's given Rhode Island now its largest lead of the night. Again, UMass had a 13-point lead in the first half, but now Rhode Island an 11-point lead as we are halfway through the second half. Now don't forget, coming up after this ball game, Xavier will be in New York to take on St. John's, part of our doubleheader. Andrew Catalan, Steve Lapis are standing by. Tina Servazio is there as well. Here's Pierre, tough shot, and he'll draw the contacts. He'll get 2.
Carl Pierre is going to be a terrific player in this league. Young man from Boston, BC High. Got a little momentum here in the second half. How about Langevin? Watch him hedge on defense. He really gets out, really gives them a different way to play.
First free throw for Pierre is good.
Who did the foul on UMass all night tonight, huh?
Yeah, UMass is now 14 of 15 from the free throw line.
Making our stats guys work here this evening.
13 points for Pierre. Gets a nice bounce off the front of the rim. 9-point game. Matt McCall brought Pierre in for I guess technically a tryout. It's a workout at the end of his high school year. He was allowed to do that NCAA-wise. Brought him in for a 45-minute session, and at that point said, okay, I like him.
Well, I think you mentioned there's a lot of disappointed prep school coach here in New England that he's not wearing their uniform right now.
Langevin off the pass from Dowden was able to stay with it off the tip.
The first half it was Jarvis Garrett. The second half it's Langevin. The bench for Rhode Island, tremendous. That's why they're a top 25 team.
Yeah, it's hard to build depth in college basketball, but Rhode Island certainly has done that. No-look pass cut off. And McLean has it knocked away by Doughton. He leaves it down low from Matthews, who missed the jam. He got caught too far underneath. And Hines loses control out of bounds. It'll be Rhode Island basketball. Well, it's maybe a little embarrassing at times.
Doughton's disappointed. He missed another assist. And hey, that happens. You know, it used to happen to me once in a while.
I'm sure it did.
I never got even near that close.
By the way, I don't think he even got too deep. I think he just didn't get high enough.
Yeah.
8:45 and counting to play.
You know, Danny Hurley talked a little bit about fatigue with his team. There's some physical fatigue, certainly some mental fatigue, and that's why the bench really makes this team difficult to beat.
Yeah, just to give a little bit of a reprieve. It certainly pushes them in practice, too. Shot clock under 10. Terrell, fadeaway jumper is good. I bet she's been doing that for years.
Wow, so improved. I'd like to see him almost be a little more selfish. The other thing I like about this Rhode Island team, they really are an unselfish group.
Whistle blows, a bump from behind. By the way, that bucket for Terrell was his first since the 7:04 mark in the first half. We've got a 1-and-1 opportunity coming for UMass. They'll shoot for the rest of the half. And Pipkins to the line. There's Jared Terrell. Went to the Adidas camp this past offseason. I think for a lot of guys, those camps that they go to from one year to the next sort of fine-tune their skills.
Sure does. Mentioned he's another prep school product. Went to Brewster Academy up in New Hampshire. Played for Jason Smith. And I'll tell you what, the Weymouth, Mass native, I'm sure, is excited about the Patriots. I'll tell you what, he looks like he could play linebacker.
Yeah, he is a big kid. Pipkins makes both free throws. The 10th 20-point game of the season for Pipkins.
He's going to have a lot of them throughout his career. And we mentioned earlier, Matt McCall wants guys all in, bought in, committed and coachable, and he's going to start with him.
Whistle blows and a foul called away from the basket on Hines.
Rhode Island moving along here, has the lead in Amherst, and Jared Terrell, the senior, with the difficult shot here as the Rams rolling at UMass.
Rhode Island's on top 69-58, trying to improve to 10-0 in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Time now for our Golden Corral teams that are hungry for a bid. And obviously Rhode Island is hungry for a bid. They would get the automatic bid if they won the A10 tournament championship like they did last year. I think they would be in anyway. Xavier, 19-3. They're coming up next against St. John's, the number 6 team in the country.
Two great teams on the network here tonight. And how about the numbers? RPIs, 9-3. These teams are in unless there's some massive stumble. But I like both of these teams, and I would not like to see them on the other side of the bracket come March.
Yeah, I know that the folks think the A10 is down a little bit, but you know, to me, Rhode Island probably deserves a higher ranking than 22, which is where they are right now. As Terrell, off the pass from Doughton, lays it in.
Another pass from Doughton and another set play out of the timeout. Great coaching by Danny Hurley and the staff.
15 points now. This is the largest lead of the night for Rhode Island, up by 13. Hines forces his way in, sweeps his way in with his left hand. He has 14.
UMass looks to pick up full court here, try to pressure this Rhode Island team to maybe a turnover or run the shot clock down a little bit.
Is this his last spurt for UMass, you think?
This is it. You got to play through the whole possession here without fouling.
Terrell for three. Good as it rattles home.
That's what happens when you press. You're going to get some mismatches. You've got to sprint out. Got to find the mismatch. Terrell been great here in the second half.
Yeah, he has. That's part of his game that's really improved from last year. He's an excellent scorer. He's a 1,000-point scorer coming into this year. But his percentage from beyond the arc is up by more than 8%, which is a huge jump.
You know what I think a lot of that is? He doesn't take bad shots. Early in his career would take some contested shots. Really doesn't take bad shots.
Hines has that ball knocked away by Langevine. And again, good active hands by the Rams.
Langevine has been outstanding in the second half. His defensive presence, his ability to hedge that ball screen and not let Pip get going on offense. Great job by Langevine.
So Rhode Island trying to front run for the last 6 minutes in 22 seconds. They are 13 of 16 from the floor in this second half. McLean for three. It's good. Left wide open from the corner. That'll help a little bit.
14 and 12 in the last game against Fordham. Plays bigger than he is. Can rebound the basketball. Nice looking stroke there for UMass.
7 straight starts for McLean. He's averaging about 27 minutes per game. That may even go up. Doughton off balance shot, draws the foul. I don't know if that ball was going to go in anyway, but he certainly drew the contact. Look at the smiles on his teammates' faces.
A little more aggressive on offense tonight, Doughton. Tell you what, if he's scoring, made a couple threes in the first half, they've really become tough to beat.
And he makes the first free throw.
He's got the short shorts on tonight. Looks like Dana Barros back in the day, the first guy to wear those long spandex. You know, they were like the football pads. The shorts are getting shorter and shorter again.
I mean, just a word of advice for the players, because we wore shorts that were shorter and shorter. Stay with what you have now.
Yeah, I'd go as long as I could possibly go.
Doughton now with 16 points. He has 10 assists, and he has his first career double-double.
By the way, I threw a little Dana Barros in. This guy reminds me of Dana Barros. Can really shoot back here in New England, and wow, he can score.
Just 5'11", 185 pounds. Matt McCall was telling us today, he said, listen, I realize next year we've got guys coming in, transfers, that are now working out with the team. He said all these guys are going to get older. He said that's why Rhode Island is so good, is there's a foul on the floor, is that they have veteran players.
See here, Doughton just drawing fouls, creating contact, one-on-one.
They didn't get continuation there.
Well, maybe I'll disagree with the officials for the first time tonight. You know, I think it's worth noting, we've been talking about Rhode Island and their depth, but you know, with UMass, coaching changes are hard. They're hard on players and teams, and there's a real transition to that. But I got the feel today, just being around the program and the athletic department, boy, they're really heading in a direction that they feel good about.
I would agree with you on that. Zeroing in on 5 minutes to play here in the ball game. Shot clock is at 3. Shot clock is at 2. Doughton loses control. Here comes Pipkins. He has numbers for a moment, leaves it for Pierre. And Pierre inside the arc takes the jumper, no good. Langevine with the rebound.
There he is, Mr. Langevine. Kind of like the junkyard dog tonight, doing a little bit of everything. Defensive rebounding, hedging screens, blocking shots.
You know, to your point, too, about UMass is going to get better. Matt McCall said to us today, you know, there's a couple teams that are just going to be way better next year. Talked about Duquesne and what Keith Dambrot has done this year. He's got guys sitting out, some of his former players from Akron, former player from Miami of Ohio. He's got guys that are going to help his transition to Duquesne even next year come a little quicker. As Pierre's called for his second foul. St. Joseph's has not had their two best players all year.
And how about Richmond? You mentioned Richmond, loaded with freshmen. Chris Mooney done a fabulous job. That team struggled early on in the season. Had them at VCU a couple weeks ago. They went into VCU and won. We know how tough that is to do.
Yeah, I'll have that rematch against VCU coming up. Terrell makes both free throws. It's his 10th 20-point game of the season, and it's back to a 12-point lead. Both teams are putting a little clinic on from their free throw line. Anderson was wide open but was leaning. Speaking of leaning, McLean leaned that pass right off the face of his teammate Hines as he was falling out of bounds.
And you can see a little bit of the fatigue setting in for UMass. Let's give them credit. They really came out here, played with a ton of energy and getting worn down by this deep Rhode Island athletic team.
Yeah, I think that's it. They've gotten worn down. I mean, you can see why Rhode Island's so good. They've done so many things well tonight. And Garrett high stepping to the basket is bumped toward the baseline by Hines. 78-66. We'll have some free throws when we return with Rhode Island in control. Coming up next, there's more top 25 college basketball action as 6th-ranked Xavier looks to weather the Red Storm as they visit St. John's at a classic Big East showcase right here on CBS Sports Network. Well, the number 22 team in the country, the Rhode Island Rams, have been in control in the second half on top 78-66 over the UMass Minutemen. Let's revisit Mo's keys to the game to see how smart you were at the start of the game.
Well, team defense, Rhode Island overall has not done a great job from a percentage standpoint, but they've been the more aggressive team. And senior focus, that's a lot more about finding a way to win on the road. E.C. Matthews and Jarrett Terrell been great. Shoot the three. UMass came out firing and value the ball. Not too bad on the turnovers.
Well, we had a very entertaining first half where UMass came out with great energy, but we said that the dominance of the depth of Rhode Island has really taken its toll on UMass in the second half.
The bench of Rhode Island, and they can play different ways. They can put different lineups out there. The small lineup has been terrific for Danny Hurley.
All right, so we'll see if there's one more run left in UMass before the end of this ball game. But Danny Hurley, whose team has done such a great job this year, mentioned there are only 3 losses. Nevada, Virginia, who was 25th at the time, and only has 1 loss this year, and Alabama.
And that's a lot of credit to their staff. They really scheduled well. Saw athletic director Thor Bjorn before the game, and they're really excited about this team and their ability to play into the postseason.
Garrett makes the first free throw. And now trying to make this a 14-point lead, and this is the largest lead of the night for the Rams. They average 76.7. They've got 80. Defensively, they allow 65.8, and even though it looked like UMass was going to blow that away, they haven't. Their defense has tightened up.
It has tightened up, and they've just worn UMass down here on both ends of the court.
Pipkins, 10 on the shot clock, feeds Hines. Hines gets control. 5 on the shot clock, and he's fouled by Langevin. And he'll go to the free throw line for a couple.
Malik Hines has been good tonight.
Yeah.
Giving them a nice lift, big offensive presence. Big fella from Jackson, Mississippi. Now he likes the cold weather here at UMass.
Well, I'm from the Northeast. I don't like the cold weather.
I'll tell you, it was mild today. A lot of activity here. Beautiful campus, so many beautiful facilities here in this western Massachusetts.
Well, you were at Holy Cross last night. They got some snow.
It's always cold on that hill. Always. Always.
You see Matthews is going to check in. Depending on if Hines makes this free throw or not. And he does. So Matthews will check in. Langevin will check out. And Miller will check in for Hines. Hines ties his career high with 16 as he checks out of the game.
Really good. Langevine's my MVP in the second half. Not really going to show up in the box score, but he was the difference. Really set the tone on defense.
Now, is that individually, or are you just having him represent the bench?
I'm giving it to him overall. He's my overall MVP in the second half. Garrett in the first half. Garrett off the bench, Langevine in the second half.
Doughton just holding it out toward midcourt. 5 on the shot clock. Down low. And a foul called on Pierre, as Robinson will go to the free throw line.
Doughton is sneaky quick. Really has an ability to get into that defense. Always wants to share the basketball. His assist to turnover ratio, staggeringly good numbers all season.
So Robinson to the line. Only 6 points tonight for Stan Robinson. Average is 10.2. Hines will check back in. Langevine checks in for Matthews. And after missing the first, here's the second for Robinson. And it's no good. Terrell is covering Pipkins. Anderson trying to find a little space. Bounce pass to Hines. Hines may have shuffled his feet. Nothing was called. Rebound by Anderson. And the putback is no good, but Hines gets it back again. And Hines leaves it for Pierre for 3. It's good. Well, at least it keeps the energy going here at the Mullins Center.
And a lot of things to build on for this UMass team. At certain times and for spurts, they have played outstanding tonight.
I think more so than their previous games. Obviously, they've lost 4 straight, so they haven't played great. But they certainly have played better tonight than what they played in the Fordham game.
And that last possession was real evidence of that. Staying with it, getting an extra possession, kick out for a 3.
And a kick and a pickup by UMass. Anderson against Garrett. Slips it to Hines, who lays it in. It's a career high. 18 points and a timeout call by Danny Hurley. 1:33 to play. Hey, don't go anywhere. We got ourselves a ball game again. It's a 7-0 run. Well, the 7-0 run has made it a little interesting for the last minute 33, which is a lifetime in college basketball. You take a peek at Malik Hines. He's wearing number 0. He has 18 points. It's a career high. I think he's really evolved here tonight.
He has some real coaching going on in both of those huddles. Great experience here for both teams. As Danny Hurley in a tight game here, got to talk about what we want to do. Taking care of the basketball, meeting passes, being strong with the ball. And for UMass, got an experience here. Hey, we don't need to foul right away. We need to play solid defense. Keep everybody in front of you. Play through the entire possession.
They did foul right away.
And they're going to shorten the game. So a little different strategy. That's why he's getting paid the big bucks over there and say, hey, we're going to shorten the game here. We're going to put them on the foul line and see if we can get a couple misses and really move this game along.
But I also think from a coaching standpoint, you talked about, you get an opportunity to grow. It's a little different situation. For Matt McCall, that's what he talked about today, trying to use this as an opportunity to just get better.
Yeah, I thought that was really great what he said. And here is an opportunity, and you're able to kind of figure out how you want to play the end of games, what you're going to do when you're in these situations for years to come. And they've got some good freshmen and sophomores on this roster.
And on the flip side, if you're Danny Hurley, your team is the best team in the Atlantic 10. You want to finish. And these are opportunities to finish, going to the free throw line, making clutch free throws. And a foul called on the floor. It'll go against E.C. Matthews. That's his third. And it'll send Anderson to the free throw line. Hines will peek out. Front of the 1-1 is good. All right, so if they make this one, you anticipate the same goal is to foul off the inbound?
Well, that must be their philosophy here. They're going to try to not let certain people catch it. You don't want Doughton to catch it and See if they can extend this game a little bit longer.
Well, it's a 3-possession game. 82-75. All right, they're going to let Terrell bring it up a little bit. Pierre asked for a timeout. Rhode Island's down to 1 timeout. We'll take a 30-second break and be back. Well, we show you our game reset. We're going to have 2 free throws for each foul for both teams moving forward. The possession arrow goes to UMass. It's a 7-point lead. That's the most important thing. UMass has 1 timeout left. Rhode Island has 1 timeout left. And Rhode Island will trigger the inbound with 22 on the shot clock. Now we are getting to the point where UMass probably has to foul.
22 in the shot clock. I would play through the whole possession here, see if you can get a stop and a rebound, and then push it on offense. Both teams with 1 timeout here, and if you're Danny Hurley, value the basketball. Strong with it, get a good shot.
Anderson covering. Jared Terrell.
Yeah, no foul now. Got to really sit down, move your feet, guard the basketball.
Shot clock at 5. Terrell crossover dribble, slips it down low to Robinson, and an offensive foul is called on Terrell. With 57.4 to play, they'll move Hines back in. A little foul trouble for him.
How about the fight in this UMass team? Step in, take a charge right on the chest. Terrific job. Terrell got a jump stop there. Had that little mid-range jump shot.
Let's see who gets the shot here. Try to get one quick. Down by 7. Anderson goes right to the basket, lays it in, a little kiss off the glass. Danny Hurley puts both hands up, says it's okay. It's okay, but it is a 5-point game. And McLean has to foul Terrell. Terrell is so good for the free throw line, 87%, second best in the Atlantic 10.
Like to not foul him there. That's the one guy you don't want to foul. And again, it kind of shows the depth and the experience of this Rhode Island team. They've got guards who make free throws, can handle the ball at the end of the game. So a good experience here for Rhode Island as well.
Terrell 2 for 2 for the free throw line tonight. He has 20 points. And misses the first one. It's going to be a 2-possession game no matter what.
How about that? Free throw box out important here for UMass.
He makes the second one. Langevin is in. Matthews is out. Langevin has 4 fouls. And Rhode Island will press off the inbounds.
Little token pressure here. Try to take a little time off the shot clock. Keep the ball in Pick's hands if you're UMass.
Anderson. Nice move, but a foul on the floor, and that's going to stop the clock. It's a foul on Garrett, and it will send Anderson to the free throw line for 2.
And if you're UMass now, talking about what you want to do on defense here. Full court pressure, see if you can get a quick trap or a steal before you have to foul and who you want to foul. Ideally, not let the ball come in for very long and not let Terrell get the basketball.
Anderson, excellent free throw shooter. He makes the first. You see Matthews back in, Langevin out. A little offense for defense. 5-point game. Sean Miller. You don't often see the number 42 worn on the basketball court. That's his number. Second shot for Anderson is good. 83-79, 4-point game, 34 seconds to play. Down, sprinting up the floor, and Pierre is called for the foul. All right, now Pierre has to be careful. That's his 4th. He is the 3rd UMass player with 4 fouls, including Hines, who will check in. Down 71%. The ideal guy percentage-wise is Stan Robinson to foul, but he's not going to have the ball in his hands.
And they've run him away from the basketball.
Garrett 67% too.
UMass elected not to foul right away there, tried to get a little trap, and they were just a step away from getting it there. And
For Rhode Island, number 10.
Again, for Rhode Island, making free throws at the end of the game, taking care of the basketball. These are the types of things that you're going to see in March become very important.
Last 10 points for Rhode Island have come for the free throw line. The miss. And now Anderson up the floor. They're face guarding Pipkins. Anderson in the paint, short on the leaner. Ball picked up by Pierre. Pipkins, 20 on the game clock. Shot clock is off. Lets it fly. No good off the front of the rim. Battle for the loose ball. Pipkins has it. Gives it back to him. Sizes up the three. Good! Oh, man, with 10.1 to play. UMass with its final timeout. We'll be back with the last 10 seconds. All right, Mo, get your chalkboard out. What are you going to do here if you're UMass to try to stop URI and get the ball back?
First and foremost, don't get beat long. Keep everybody in front of you if you're UMass. Make them catch the ball in front of you. See if you can get a quick trap or a steal. If not, you want to reach in and foul right away. And if you're Rhode Island on the other side, value the ball. Go meet a pass, be strong with it, anticipate the foul coming.
I was kind of dating ourselves when I said, go get your chalkboard. What would you use? What would you use with your dry erase board is probably what I should have said.
Yeah, that's right. And Rhode Island goes to a very small lineup here, essentially 5 guards on the floor right now.
All right, from a free throw standpoint, they've got good shooters. Russell, 91%. E.C. Matthews, 81%. Terrell, we already mentioned him, he's at 87%. Garrett's the guy at 67% that you might want to foul, but he's so seasoned.
I would foul Garrett or I would foul Russell because he just came into the game.
Doughton will trigger the inbounds. 10.1 to play. Can Rhode Island hang on? Doughton gets it into Garrett. Whistle blows. And a foul called on Pipkins, I believe. The fans not happy about the call. I think they wanted something a little earlier. Check the left side of your screen while the fans are upset.
Looking at a little push off here.
Well, Pipkins really did try to sell it pretty good.
He sold it pretty well, I'll tell you that. He got the fans. He's shaking his head. Oh.
They're a little partisan, though.
Boy, what a terrific young guard. He has played so hard.
All right, so Garrett to the line for 2. Both are important with 9.1 to play. And he makes the first, we mentioned. He is a senior. He has been around the block, not a time or two, about 15 times.
He sure has. And he's the guy who really got them going after a slow start and that great out of the gates by UMass.
And now the second shot. This one is the big one. Making a 2-possession game. And it's no good. A 3-pointer can tie it.
See, interesting here. Will Rhode Island reach in and foul?
Pipkins with a little push up, and there's the foul. 1.8 to play. That's smart by Garrett with 1.8 to play.
Absolutely. That is the play there. That's what I would do, and that's what they practice all the time. Reach in and foul. Take away that desperation 3-pointer to tie the game. Now he's got to go to the free throw line, make the first, probably miss the second.
Yep.
And then try to get an offensive rebound.
Yeah, Pipkins 7 of 8 tonight, 78%, 26 points tonight. Let's see if he's got any kind of skill on missing a free throw as Rhode Island uses its final timeout. I'm not saying that anybody thought this game was over, but Rhode Island was taking full control of this game. The 7-0 run by UMass with about 2 minutes left is what brought them back in.
Perfectly executed reach in and foul. Let some time go off the clock. They didn't have to reach in and foul right away. That couldn't have been drawn up any better. That's the stuff you work on at the end of practice in the summer. You talk about in huddles all the time. That was so well executed by Rhode Island.
Well, we hope the game coming up after this is as good as this one has been or has turned out to be. It's Xavier and St. John's. Andrew Catalan, Steve Lapis, Tina Servazio are standing by at Carneseca Hall.
That's a heck of a crew on the game.
Yeah. All right, 85-82. So Pipkins to the line. Your thought is make the first, try to miss the second, and then try to get a rebound.
And that's a difficult thing to do, but it's probably your best shot. You could also essentially make both, try to get an immediate foul, but then it would be a real long heave. I think your better play here is go with a bigger lineup, try to get an offensive rebound, see if you can get a tip in.
All right, so here we go. Neither team with a timeout left. Pipkins, 26 points. And they've put back into the game Turner Morris, number 14. And Berry's back in as well for Rhode Island. So some bigger bodies.
I think we see their strategy here. Make the first, which this guy can do.
Yep.
And then, again, I love the play by Rhode Island. This makes it a very difficult play. So free throw box out so important. You got to box out the shooter and the big guys around the basket.
Stan Robinson just asked Ted Valentine, so how's it go? Off the backboard, whistle blows, 1.2 to play. Did he call it a violation? That's what they're looking at. Pipkins fired it off the back of the rim when nobody was ready for it. They may be calling a foul here. The Xavier St. John's game is underway and now available at cbssports.com/live. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. All right, let's take a look. Off the back of the iron, Pipkins had it. So they may have been calling a violation.
Free throw violation.
Free throw violation because the ball did not hit the rim.
He left before it hit.
He fired it up there pretty quickly. So let's look at it one more time. Yeah, he did.
Yep, it was really close, and Rhode Island got caught sleeping there a little bit. I'll tell you, they were lucky.
I think we all did.
Yeah, we both did. Yep.
Well, this is a veteran crew, as we mentioned at the top. 1.2 to play. Doughton throws it long, and it's knocked away by Robinson, and that will do it. Rhode Island has survived. They have stretched their winning streak to 13 consecutive games. It's the longest since the 1939 season. 85-83 the final score, and Rhode Island will improve to 10-0 in the Atlantic 10 and 18-3 overall. Boy, this turned out to be a heck of a ball game between these two rivals.
It really did. A lot of credit to Rhode Island for finding a way to win in a difficult place. And let's give this UMass team credit.
Yeah.
They battled from start to finish.
Well, the final score, it's Rhode Island 85, UMass 83. From Mo Cassara and our entire crew up here in Amherst, I'm Tom McCarthy. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now let's send you to New York for the Xavier St. John's matchup.